And hello again, and welcome to part 13, yes, unlucky 13, of my Norley build series. And today's a big day because I'm going to try and start the bike for the first time. I've hopefully sold some of the nickels that I had before. I've been to the garage and I've got some petrol to put in it, and then we can see if the bike will start. But before I started to make this video, I did just go over it very quickly, make sure I'm happy with everything, and I turned the ignition key on. And guess what? The whole bike was dead. No power anywhere. So that was a bit of a surprise. And so I took the seat off and had a look at the electrics that live here. No power going to the M unit at all. And it seems this very expensive ballistic lithium ion battery is dead as a dodo. Not sure why. I've had it about a year or two. It's been okay. I do have a suspicion it might have something to do with the fact that for some unknown reason, the speedo and the speedo sensor need a permanent supply of 12 volt power, completely independent of the ignition key. God knows why, and I wasn't happy about doing that and fitting it because it meant a whole separate circuit going from here to the forward to the bike. But I just wonder if maybe that has slowly drained the power off this battery over the last few months it's been attached to the bike. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. So the first thing I did was I looked online to see if I can buy a new one of these things, because this tray was made to take this battery and no other. But I was somewhat surprised to find that Ballistic have now gone out of business. They've ceased trading. I guess they couldn't compete against the cheap Chinese lithium-ion batteries coming into America and Europe, and you can't get this anymore. Or if I can get one, it'll be the last one I can find. So that's a bit of a problem. However, I do have another lithium-ion battery that I bought for my Guzzi project. So I've dragged that one out and it's now on charge. And there it is. It's a Shido LTZ12S, 12 volt of course. And this one's got a nifty little button here on the top. You press it, if you can see that, and it tells you the condition of the battery. And right now I've got 3 blue lights there, which tells me the battery's in fine condition. And sure enough, looking at the charger here, I've got a full line of LEDs that tells me it's fully charged. So now, let's see if we can get this on the bike, and we'll try again. And now I fitted this Shido battery to the terminals. Everything lit up, so that's fine. However, and not unexpectedly, this is much bigger than the Ballistic that was in here before. And consequently, this recess I had made, it's all made to fit. This battery won't go in there, so obviously I can't use this battery on the bike. Not unless I completely remake this panel at the back and make this recess a lot bigger, which I don't want to do because the seating place, there's hardly any spare gap at all around it, so I don't think that's going to work. No idea what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and find a similar battery to the Ballistic that's as small as the Ballistic that'll go in here and still have enough power to start the bike. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get some fuel in the bike and see if it starts. And to help it start for the very first time, I'm going to blow fuel directly through these gauze into the carburetor. I wouldn't recommend that at home, but I've just got some line here. I'm going to suck up some fuel and just blow it straight in. Okay, so I've got this bit of line, a little bit of fuel in it, not much, just a few little drops. I'm going to just do that and blow like hell. That's not very much, I'll do some more. A bit concerned about this thing falling off, so I'm going to watch out for that when I start the bike. And let's see what happens. Here we go. 1 click, 2 clicks. Everything works, that's fine. And here we go. That's the lowest one. Is it in gear? Just check. Yes, so there you go. So let's try. Here we go. First time ever. Nearly. Try again. That's not good. Something's getting very hot here. I think maybe this earth here is too thin. Or maybe this is affecting too much resistance. I think I'll change that for a much thicker wire. So come back in a minute when I've done that. And now it's the next day, because just after I saw the earth lead starting to smoke, I got interrupted and had to stop for the day. But now we're back. I've changed the earth lead to one a bit thicker. I knew it was a bit thin when I fitted it, but I thought by doubling up, one for the M unit and one from the frame, I would be okay, but apparently not, because clearly the circuit for the starter motor, which takes the most power of all, comes back through the frame, and therefore that's why I had a problem. So anyway, I've now fitted a temporary thicker cable, and now we can try again and start the bike. So let's give it a go. Here we go. Doesn't sound good to me. I think the battery's tired. God knows why. No, it's not having it. Let me turn it off and go and put the battery on charge for a while. This battery's not good enough, I think. That one. Starter motor's knackered, I don't know which. No. It's dead. Dead. Yeah, it's getting rather hot. And that was my third attempt to start the bike without much success. It sounds like either the starter motor's tired, not working too well, or maybe the battery's not too good, although looking at this it shows a full charge. Or maybe these leads are far too small. I need to get much thicker leads, so I've ordered some, I think it's 25mm squared earth leads for this thing, so when they arrive we'll get them on there and we'll see if that helps, because right now I'm just sort of running out of ideas. But I can't give up yet, but I keep on trying until we get the damn thing to start. Okay, so here's the next attempt to start the bike. I've got some jump leads from my car, connected them to the car battery, and we're all ready to go now. The M unit's turned on, so let's see what happens. I must say I don't have much faith in this because I've got all sorts of weird issues with this bike at the moment, but here goes. Okay, so here goes. Hit the button and it should start hopefully, or at least turn the bike over. No. Well, that's interesting. And so when I hit the starter, nothing much happened. I heard some sort of buzzing beneath the tank, which I think could be the circuit breakers. But watch what happens to the speedo and tacho when I hit the button now. Here we go. They die. I start pushing the button and they come back. And now we're looking at the M unit with its LED lights that indicate what's going on, hopefully. So I'll film that as I hit the starter motor again, and we'll see if anything actually happens there. If there's any lights flashing or whatever. Here we go. Now that tells me that something's wrong. I mean, it shouldn't do that. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's not happy, is it? Not happy at all. Okay, so all those lights flashing then was not a good thing. Well, I did expect to have some problems starting the bike, but not as bad as this. Now, the solenoid here is brand new, and the starter motor was taken apart and checked some time ago when I painted the outside case. All the wiring seems to be okay, nothing loose, everything looks fine, but it does seem like the circuit breaker I've got underneath here is cutting out and breaking a circuit when I hit the starter button. So clearly there's a problem somewhere. So I'm currently at a loss, but what I'm going to have to do now is remove the tank and check all that area again, get my multimeter out and perhaps go and get some help if it sort of baffles me, if I can't work it out. So yeah, I'll come back when I've done that. But certainly this thing's fighting me all the way, and I must say I thought I would have the bike running by now. But it is what it is, so I just have to keep on trying to find problems and solve them as we go along. Okay, things are getting serious now, and I've broken out the multimeter just to check some of the circuits in the starter motor and solenoid area. And one thing I can check is that all these lines are making good contact. So I should get zero resistance when I go from, say, here to take off power on the solenoid to the starter motor itself. And I do, that's fine. And I should also have a good earth from the shell of this starter motor back to the frame, so you can't see this, but I'm just going to touch that on the earth of the frame. See, yeah, that's fine, that's good. and I should also be able to, let me see, what else can I check? I can check the resistance from what would be the live positive side of the battery to here, this top mount, top terminal on the solenoid. That should also be 0. Make sure I get a good contact there, so let's just check that. Yeah, there you go, that's fine. And then across the solenoid, I'm not sure about this trigger point here, this little contact. That's the contact that will cause the solenoid to actually activate and connect the power from the battery to the starter motor. I'm not sure what kind of resistance I'm supposed to get from there to there. Okay, so there's obviously a good contact there. Not sure if that's correct or not, but we can check. And then at the other side, that's a, oh, okay, that's interesting. So, I'm not sure that's right or not. Just do it again. So there's, oh, okay. There's a massive resistance between this top terminal and this trigger terminal here, and then going back down from the trigger terminal to the power takeoff on the solenoid, it's pretty much 0, which means it's a good circuit. Again, I'm not sure if that's correct or not, I need to go check. And finally, to go from the power input to the power output on the solenoid, I'm expecting that to be an open circuit until power comes through this central terminal here and makes a contact and causes everything to happen. So let's just check that. That should now be an open circuit. Let's have a look. Oh, it's not. That's interesting. 32, 34. It really doesn't matter. Oh, hang on. Here comes the ice cream van. Turned that one, didn't I? Well, let's wait for him to go. Oh, a bit loud, isn't it? Yeah, that's the ice cream man, by the way. I want to sell some ice cream. Anyway, let me just, yeah, okay, he's turn that off now. So yeah, from here to there, I've got a circuit. A lot of resistance there. So I've got to go and check if that's correct or not. I would think that from here to here should be, that is to say the power input to power output, that should be open when the starter button's not been pressed. But it's not, it's got some kind of resistance there, which is kind of weird. Again, perhaps that's the source of my problems. Perhaps the solenoid's been damaged in some way. Just got to take that out and repair it, or replace it rather. So if that's the case, I'm actually quite happy, because it means it's a simple fix. I'm just going to buy a new one of those, and they're not too expensive. But yeah, very interesting, very interesting. What I'll do now is I need to go and check online or check in a book and see what's going on with this, and whether that circuit there from input to output on a solenoid should have some kind of resistance like that, or it should be an open circuit, which I thought it would be. Very interesting. Okay, so next I'm going to see if I can get the starter to actually work by jumping it from my car battery. So here's the terminal here. The earth is attached to the earth on the bike, back to the car battery, and in theory, if I get things right, when I touch this live terminal to the terminal here on the starter should start to turn. Now the bike won't move because the solenoid's not working, it'll just spin and not really do anything, hopefully. But if it all goes wrong, then at least we'll have it on film. So here goes. Now this could spark a bit because there's a lot of power going through here, but here goes. No, hang on. Well, it's sparking, but that's not good, is it? Starter's not spinning at all. Now I would have hoped that that would actually work. Hang on, let me change the earth side of things. Here's the earth here. I'll attach it directly to the body of the starter motor, just in case there's an issue there. I don't think there is. I've tested it and it looks okay. So here we go again. Well, I've got spark, got current, but that starter's not spinning at all, is it? That's not good. That's not good at all. So let's quickly undo that. Make sure it's safe. I don't like having live leads lying around. Let me just go and disconnect that from the car. Okay, so I just made those leads safe. And what's interesting is that was powered directly from the car battery on the live and the earth of this starter motor, and nothing happened. And really that should have span round then, and I'm not sure why it didn't. And maybe that's the cause of all my problems. I've checked on the book here, as I just mentioned, and the M unit will cut out when the power voltage drops right down. And I reckon if this thing's not working correctly, then maybe the power voltage just dropped right down when it tries to turn over. Maybe it's being earthed back to itself, and all the power from the battery just being drained through here, and that would cause the problems I'm suffering right now. Not good at all. Anyway, what I'll do now is I'll remove this starter motor and we'll have a look at it in more detail. And so I've just taken apart the starter, as you can see, and first of all it looks very dirty. I mean, these should not be oily and wet like that. They should be clean and dry. Next thing I noticed was, as I took it apart, you had that electrical burnt smell, which isn't ideal. The other thing I noticed was the bearing on here is fine, looks fine, and as I'm taking it apart I noticed this is very grotty, this top plate here with the bushes, the spring bushes that are pushed against this armature here. They're very dirty and pretty tired looking, and as I'm looking at it I noticed that one of these cables here, I'm not sure if you can tell. Yeah, so I've zoomed in now and you can see this outer cover on these cables has frayed and been damaged, and it's now exposed the wiring beneath, which isn't ideal. Now it could be that's just happened as I took it apart, but somehow I doubt it because that looks pretty damn frayed to me. It's been done quite a while. Now if that inner cable there was touching the outer case, then who knows, that could cause a short, which in turn could cause a massive voltage drop from the M unit into this thing, which of course causes the M unit to shut down. So maybe that's the suspect there, that could be the problem. But either way, this starter motor is now 40 years old this year, and so rather than trying to repair this one, which I still might do, what I'm thinking of doing is just saying sod it, let's go and buy a brand new unit and put it on the bike, and then there's no debate about whether it's working well or not. I will still try and repair this one as well, because it's always handy to have a spare, but yeah, it's not ideal, is it? So these all need to be replaced, and it looks a bit of a mess in there. So I'm hoping this is the cause of my starting problems and for the M unit to kick out when I hit that button. Anyway, this is of course episode 13, unlucky for some. But to be honest, if this is the cause of all my problems, I'm not too worried, because it means it's an easy fix. I've just got to buy a new one, fit it, and the bike should start okay. But that won't be for a week or two, because obviously I've got to order the part and wait for it to arrive. And so this video is now quite long enough as it is. And so we'll end this episode 13 here, and we'll come back in a week or two and hopefully have this replacement on the bike, and the bike might start. So anyway, thanks for watching and cheers.